All right, good Wednesday evening, everybody. It's March 27th, 2024, here at precisealgorithmtrading.com. And let's dive right in. It was a pretty bullish market today. But let's start with our automated trading systems. And this is our Dow futures. And this thing's been lagging or waffling lately. We had this pullback and then we started coming back up again. Um, that's all right. It's just nothing exciting, and we've had a serious run of small losses lately. So today the trades were these, and it's just a few of those losses, and that's all right. The Russell today didn't trade. This thing hasn't had a well. They had a one losing trade yesterday. The Nasdaq continues this little sell-off. It's just freaking annoying, and it's also had mostly a run of losses lately. So we're due for some wins. Get this thing to pick back up again would be nice. And when the time comes, we'll put in some new green dots. That's what we're looking for. New equity peaks. All right, let's flip to let's flip to the econoday.com real quick because I want to look at the rest of the week and look at this full week calendar right here. Friday. So this is today. This is the 28th, and that's Friday. I thought the markets were going to be closed. So that's not showing up here. There we go. Stocks closed. It's at the bottom here. Stocks closed. Bonds open. Banks and federal offices open. So the stock market's not going to be moving. But the Fed chair is going to actually speak. So that's weird. So I think the futures will be open. And that's going to be a game time decision whether I want to just turn that system on and let it run. Usually I do, but I don't really think we get much movement in either direction out of that on these types of holidays, these half days and things like that. So, anyways, um, probably gonna, like I say, make that decision Thursday night or even Friday morning. But stocks on Friday are closed. It says it right there. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this, and we'll come back to stock charts when we get out of doing the regular markets. So today, let's flip down here and look at the S&P and the Dow Jones Industrials. The Russell, it's already zeroed out, so we'll have to look at the IWM and then the Nasdaq. So the S&P went up 0.86% or 44, almost 45 points. The Dow went up 477 points. It's at 39,760. We'll flip to that one here. And this is the one I've been preaching. I don't. It's not really preaching. When I'm just forecasting that we're going to get to 40,000, and we're really close now. We're at 240 points away. So, I think that's a foregone conclusion by the end of the week. But I could be wrong. We could put in a lower high and start going down from here. But I just don't think so. Um, the Russell. Let's look at IWM. So that thing is up on the day by 2.18%. And really no sign of trouble. Pushing up against this resistance area, and we'll probably see where if we come up to this old peak and push back down off of it, or if we just blow right through it. And then the Nasdaq. mostly sideways, really. A little up on the day, up 0.5%. So I think we get a little bit of follow through on all this stuff. There's a bull flag showing up on the hourly over here. All right, moving to, let's look at oil. Oil bounced back a little bit today. The oil futures contract is up a little bit overnight even. Where's my target? Yeah, so we're still looking for my target there. We'll see what happens. And gold, GLD, is bouncing. So that's interesting. I don't know exactly what the coupling is, but I got a position that I put on, I believe, yesterday. It's Royal Gold, and I don't exactly know what they do, but when gold moved up today, look at that one, went up 8%. So I think I took some of it off the table just because of that big move in a day. But wow, that's pretty interesting. And then let's look at silver since we're here. Silver's on a nice pullback there. And Bitcoin, that's on a pretty severe pullback. And bonds, since we're here. You know, I'm long bonds right now with the technicals that are showing and relatively short risk here. So, all right, that's enough for the stocks. Let's look at Apple real quick, just because obviously it drives the markets. Long term, it looks down. Midterm, it's starting to come back around again. Looks like. Oh yeah, I put this thing over here too. So here's the channels that we've been tracking, and actually it's interesting that we're bouncing back off of the lower channel line there. You can actually see that show up pretty good here. That's that same channel line, and you can see it just totally bounced at that zone. Now that's not to say it can't roll over and die here, but again, I don't see that happening. Not the way things have been stacked up lately. And then this is the VIX. The VIX has been chopping around in this lower area. We've seen it go lower still. So like maybe we see something like that pop in. And then this is that thing I brought up the other day, and I want to just do this because this is what I was trying to eventually see. So you get a market that just sells off hard like it did really over the last couple days. And if I put a third day on here, that's one day, that's yesterday, this is today. But if you look at a third day, I think we actually get more of this, and then you get a pop, and that's the kind of market we saw today, which was just strong. And we have this pullback after a pop, which is so totally common. But something else, if you notice here, that's the 1,000 line as far as the ticks go. And that's minus 600, and that's positive 600. It was 2 days ago, we actually went down and hit the 1,000 ticks, minus 1,000. And that shows extreme bearishness. And I've seen it get as low as like 16 or 1,800, I think. But then you see this type of a move here, and it gets to over a positive 1,000. But then, that's what the extremes do. They eventually bounce back. And now we're in this pretty bullish territory, which I could see a sell out of the gate in the morning just because people chasing. But I think this thing's going to go rally some more. This won't be, I don't think, just a one-day move as far as these advanced decline lines of the different markets, or the ticks for that matter. So, all right, wanted to show you guys that, and then let's go back and close this thing out at stockcharts.com. Type in bullish, and we'll look at the bullish percent indexes or indices. So the industrials didn't move. The NYA down 0.35%. The transports didn't move. The NASDAQ up 1.34%. The S&P 500 minus 0.27%. The S&P 100 up 1.37%. And the NASDAQ 100 minus 1.72%. So, still thinking this is a bearish case, and all we just saw was a bit of a pullback before a launch. So, and that is so common. So, yeah, let me draw that just because I also want to play with this thing a little bit more. No. Oh, boy. Did not realize I was going to have to jump into that way. All right, well, let's do it this way. So, markets tend to, this is account values too. They go up, they pull back. These are hard days to take. Then they go up, they pull back. Sometimes they do this, and then they do this, and then they go. So these dips are, and look, they even have it, they show it like even in their ads. If your account's doing this, that's great, which is kind of what the market's doing right now. Eventually it's going to do this. But you got to just keep your strategy right through that so that you can turn the corner. Sometimes it does this, and then it comes back up. So I hope you guys get that, because literally this year's profits in the way we trade went from, and it's, what is it? Yeah, the end of March. So 3 months worth of profits just got cut in half in the last 2 weeks. And most of that came back today, in one day. And are we going to climb out of that going forward? Yeah, I believe we will, and then we'll have another down day. If you, let's say you make 10% and then you cut it to 5, and then it waffles for a few days, and then you get back up to here, but then you make a couple percent and it comes back, but then it goes back up again. That's what we're talking about. So you just can't lose your mind. You got to keep to your strategy. So anyways, that was a fun thing to play with, and I'll leave you guys with that for tonight. So take care and have a great night.